Welcome back. In this video, I am going to be talking about one of the most asked questions that any land investor has, especially people just getting started, is which market do I choose? How do I know that if I send a mail there that I'm going to get a return on my investment? How do I know that people are going to want to sell below market value? If you can figure that out and you have a secret list, please send it to me because I would love it. I would love it. Now, I joke, I don't want you to be misled that there is a standard set of rules when it comes to choosing a market. All right. My goal in this video is to simplify, very much is to simplify things for you because there's a lot of stuff you'll read and a lot of things you'll see out there on how to choose a market. And if you're anything like me, at least your first few times, you'll overanalyze it to death. What I've found after over almost 2 million mailers, 560 deals as I'm recording this, there's only a couple of things that really matter in my opinion. I've been repeating this process for 5 years and it's continuing to work. It works in today's market and I will never provide this course if it doesn't work. But the truth is I want to simplify things for you and just give you a couple things to look at, okay? So when I think about finding a land market, really the one thing I care about, and it has one key characteristic or KPI, if you will, is demand. I want to make sure that where I'm buying land, where I'm buying it with the goal to sell it, that people are buying it, that retail buyers are paying retail prices for land in that area. That's my real criteria, okay? Now, why do I not overthink this? Some groups and people will tell you, well, you got to have a certain ratio of for sale properties to sold properties. Disagree with that. Some people will tell you, you can't go, there's too much competition in these areas. You're never going to get a deal. I disagree with that. In reality, land realtors, land investors, people who work in the land space are really bad at marketing, okay? It's a benefit we have and we will exploit. Most investors are really bad at marketing. They don't get their listings seen by the right people. They're not following up with leads like they should. We go through this really in depth in my land marketing masterclass, which is included in our mastermind program. But really the reality is if you are a common sense person watching this video, you're gonna be able to get your property seen significantly more than anybody else. So I don't worry about competition. I don't worry about how many are there for sale versus sold in the last 12 months? Like these are things that a lot of people care about. In reality, I've worked in markets where they meet those criteria and they vastly do not meet that criteria. And we've done incredibly in both. What I find most often for anybody that's trying to decide on how do I choose my first market, it's demand. Is somebody buying what you're selling? Now the first KPI with that, or really the only KPI are sales, right? I like to look at sales in the last 12 months, last 6 months, last 3 months, whatever data set I can get access to. And we'll talk through in some of the tools of the trade module, and then we have some bonus modules of me just going A to Z on this whole thing. But really what you're looking for is, there's different places you'll find it. You're looking for sales, all right? You want concrete, solid sales data that shows that in some reasonable amount of time, 3, 6, 9, 12 months, people are paying this price for land, okay? Generally, if I can check that box, I am confident that if I buy at the right price, I will be able to sell my property at the specific price that we're looking for, right? The biggest red flag to me is if I'm choosing an area and I don't see much activity there, okay? Sometimes that can be a honey hole, and that can be like your spot that you found. We definitely all have those throughout the course of our careers, but the majority of the time, folks, you're not like reinventing the wheel, right? So where you find sales, where you see demand, is generally where is a good place to start. See, we're not trying to reinvent the wheel here, okay? There's a few areas, again, that you may find as honey holes where not many people are working and you find a great niche and you start capitalizing on it. You will definitely find that, I'll say, if you do this long enough. But the truth is where you start, how you choose a market, is you look for demand, okay? You're not going to reinvent the wheel here, right? So let's go where there's a proven market, where other investors are working, where land is consistently selling. And there's so many tools like DataTree and Zillow and Lands of America, we'll talk through those more in the course, where you can find that. But that's the one thing for me, guys, is I wanna see demand. I wanna see properties selling in the area. If I look back 12 months and I only see a couple properties and they're nothing like the one I'm looking at, or they're nothing like the ones I want to target, then oftentimes that's a big red flag for me. I'm probably not going to do business there unless I know something, right? Really what you're looking for is you're looking for activity, you're looking for sales. If you think about this like an Amazon review, okay? Owning land is not like a super mainstream thing. So when somebody on the other side of the screen goes to buy your property, and they see one property listed in the middle of nowhere with nothing else around it, no other listings to check out, no other sold properties, they're gonna have some questions. But if you think about it like an Amazon listing, if there are more listings in the area where they can set baseline prices and understand that that property is worth something, you're gonna have a much better chance of selling it, right? So I always go for the sales data, all right? So I hope this helps. In this video, really I want you to come out with understanding there's only one thing you need to look for. You need to look for demand. So in addition to demand, okay, one of the biggest things that you really need to do, and we talked about this in the previous modules, but you need to choose properties that fit your price points or fit your budgets, okay? So I'm gonna jump over to my computer and I'm gonna record a little example here of showing you how to put these things together, okay? How do I find properties that are in my budget, right? In the areas I wanna target, and there's sales, there's demand. I'm gonna do this a lot more in depth in some of the bonuses you'll get here, but I'm just gonna walk through a quick example. So let's hop over to my computer screen. So when we're looking for land, and when we're trying to decide on a market, one of my favorite sites is Lands of America is good, but I actually like Land Watch just a little bit better because of how it represents the data to you, okay? So again, there's a lot of areas to choose from, a lot of places we can decide, right? Let's start with the state, all right? Let's just get simple. Let's start with the state. Let's go with the state of Texas, okay? I'm just gonna put Texas here. And Texas is gonna come up, and there's a lot of different areas we can choose. What we wanna do is we wanna filter this down by what we're looking for, okay? So first I'm gonna come down here to price. And let's say you're somebody who's looking for mid-sized acreage, right? Maybe something that's between the prices of $30,000 and $80,000, okay? What I'm gonna come in here and do is I'm gonna set a custom price of, let's just call it 20,000 to 100,000, okay? Now, how do I decide on that number? Why did I choose that, all right? Kind of arbitrary. If you're working with, like we discussed in a previous video, if you don't have a hard bank of cash to work from, the prices of properties are pretty irrelevant to you because you're gonna have to go out and partner with people on them, okay? If you are somebody that's investing some of your own cash, then you gotta just be cognizant of what your numbers are, all right? This is a pretty good search though here. $20,000 to $100,000 is a good kind of beginner range to see prices and see properties that are selling for that. Maybe even down to 15,000. Truly, I don't any longer bother with properties that are worth less than that because it's just not worth our time. But I'm not upset with you, or I don't have any disposition with you going after smaller deals to get started. Maybe you change these prices as I have on the screen and you put 2 to 10,000, right? That could be great too. You're gonna get the same result. I'm gonna do it with this though, because in general, I say target properties where you can make $10,000 or more dollars, and this generally is a good starting point for that. So over here, I'm gonna put add on this $15,000 to $100,000. And another little hack here, we're not really looking, unless you're looking for infill lots, which you're not going to be on Land Watch. This is more of a ranch website. We're gonna set a minimum size here. Let's set a minimum size of 5 acres, okay? You could research, and this could be 2 or 3 or 4 in your area, but I think 5 or 4 is a good number. Anything below that, we don't really wanna mess with, right? And for me, I like larger properties, so I could even say, hey, I want to find properties that are 20 acres and up, and they're between this price range, all right? So I've put these things in, Texas, this price range, this area. Now, what you can do is you can come in and you can see right here. This is the secret sauce, okay, for anyone looking. You can come right here, and it will specifically tell you, this is the largest land listing website there is right now, what counties in the state of Texas have land that meet this criteria, this size, et cetera, okay? So for example, we can see that for these ranges, right? Hudspeth County, Edwards County, Valverde County, Terrell County, these places have properties listed in that price range, okay? And then another thing you can do is, I like this site, Lands of America, okay? They're actually owned by the same company. If you didn't know that, CoStar owns all of these land sites. But anyhow, I'll go over here, and then I'm gonna go to Culberson County, because that was the first one that popped up. So, oh, I'm sorry, I said Hudspeth County. I'm gonna go to Hudspeth County, Texas. I'm gonna enter it, and I'm gonna push map, and I'm gonna see here on the screen that there are a lot of things for sale. So some things down here around Sierra Blanca, There's some stuff up here towards Fort Hancock. And you can take this little thing off here and you can come in and click more filters and you can go down to sold and you can apply and it'll show you, hey, are there sold properties in addition to the listed properties, right? And one thing you can even do is just take off the nons and just say sold. So you can see there's a lot of stuff out here that's sold. This just at first glance to me tells me it's a good market. I wouldn't overthink it any farther than that. I would think that Hudspeth County, Texas would be a great market. And I could guarantee you if I went back over here to LandWatch and I went down this list of counties, Hudspeth, Edwards, Valverde, Terrell, Brewster, Presidio, Menard, Culberson, I can guarantee you, you would have success if you worked there, okay? Am I guaranteeing your first mailer is gonna work? No, but if you look at there, you see land selling in the price ranges that you're looking for, and you've proven that there's demand, there's people buying, right? That checks all the boxes for me. So I encourage you to dig in, play around with that. Maybe you want to invest close to home, maybe far away from home. Again, it works everywhere. In the next video, we're going to talk about setting your search criteria. How do we take it from the map and we put it into the data system, okay? So we will see you in the next video.